Hey teacups, it's your girl Monica. Welcome back to the All About the Tea channel. Joining me tonight are Teacup affiliates, Plez. Hey Plez.
Hey,
Hey girl. So what's the lip color of the day, Plez?
this is a lipstick from MAC that they did a year or so ago with the Aladdin collection called A Whole New World. And I put a little clear lip gloss over it because that matte was drying out my lips in these winter streets, child.
Oh girl. Yeah, well, I like it. It's very, very, very pretty. And
Thank
we also
you.
have Schoolboy joining us this evening. Hey Schoolboy.
Hey,
Hey,
A Whole New World. I love the Aladdin. I like that song.
I know.
Oh yeah. Bishop won't be joining us tonight. He is spending some time with his family, which is always a good thing, right? Family time.
Always.
Okay. All right, y'all. First and foremost, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I need you to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, bang that notification bell because we don't want you missing out on any of the piping hot tea that we serve on this channel. All right, now, teacups, on the agenda tonight, we have Basketball Wives. The cast is accusing OG of fake colorism storyline, and they refuse to film with her. Let's get into it.
A website called All About the Tea.
Told All About the Tea that during the fight,
All right, now to all the folks out there in the South, Texas, Louisiana, and all those states affected by this winter storm, please stay safe. I finally got back my power and water today, praise God. And Schoolboy, you got your power back, or did you lose power?
I didn't lose power or anything like that. I only lost the internet, but we got the internet back and stable, and that's because it melted today, and we didn't get no more additional accumulation where I'm at. Thank God.
Oh, good. And I know, Pledge, you said you had rolling blackouts, right? It was in and out for you?
Yeah, it was in and out. It's been pretty consistent today, and they came and fixed my heat today, child. So thank God.
Praise God. Praise God. Yeah, because I know you was wearing like 5 layers of clothes up in that house.
I was. Because when they fixed it and it popped on, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's like 56 degrees in your house." I'm like, "I know it." But it's warmed back up now. We're back in the 70s. I like it.
Good. Yeah, where it should be. You looking at him like, no shit, Sherlock. I know that. That's why you here. All right, y'all. Let's get into this tea, this Basketball Wives tea. So apparently, while filming season 9 of Basketball Wives, the cast walked off the set. They halted production, claiming that they were disturbed by OG's behavior. Okay. That cast included Evelyn Lozado, Shawnee O'Neal, Jackie Christie, Kristen Scott, Malaysia Pergo, and Jennifer Williams. Now, as fans know, OG clashed with most of those cast members. I think the only person she got along with was Jackie and Cece, but Cece's gone now, right? And Tammy's gone also. So after numerous on-screen fights, and OG accused her castmates of colorism and unfair treatment in season 8, we were wondering, well, is OG going to come back for season 9? Because those girls were really coming after her in season 8. And she's back. We all know she's back because the season started. Here she go. Isn't she pretty? She's beautiful. Yes. According to The Blast, which is an outlet that I trust very much, shout out to Ryan over there at The Blast. I like him a lot. Producers separated the cast into 2 separate homes due to COVID, and the women expressed concern about filming with OG because of her season 8 behavior. Please, okay. When I read this, I was just like, the girls are really trying it. They are really trying it with this OG. An insider claims that specific cast members, let me guess, specific cast members were quote unquote concerned about filming with OG and being around her due to the volatile nature of cast dynamics. According to this source, out of fear of any action of dissent or dislike may be pegged as acts of colorism or racism, some felt it was in their best interest to avoid OG altogether. I'm going to stop right there. Plez, why don't you sound off on the fear, quote unquote, that these girls have of OG?
What are you afraid of? Someone calling a thing a thing?
Mm-hmm.
If no one has claimed fear in all of the years that Evelyn Lozada been on TV whooping people's butt, they should not be afraid because somebody is using their words to describe how their actions made them feel. It's a cop out, it's lazy, it's tired, and it's just another manipulation tactic to try to get this girl off of the show. It's lowbrow, and I really don't know how much further this show is going on. I don't even know how VH1 is justifying the budget or anything at this point. I don't really know who's still watching it, who's invested in it. It's been the same regurgitated beef year after year after year. And I'm tired of watching Evelyn, Shawnee, sometimes Jennifer, Jennifer, we're not on her right now, but I'm just saying her self-esteem is low. She is the ultimate pick-me. Anytime Shawnee picks her up, she wants to be involved, and then Shawnee and them will turn their backs on her too. So I don't understand how she keeps letting other adult women treat her like this, but it's really demeaning and sad the lengths that they're trying to go to get rid of OG. When Shawnee claims she's the executive producer, couldn't they just let her out of her contract? She said she was just there so she didn't get fined. So that means somebody threatened her if she were to leave a walk off. So how can the others then try to ice her out if she's not allowed to be let out? It's silly. It's gaslighting at the highest extent.
Exactly. And you know what, too? I feel they knew some sort of colorism took place. They felt guilty about it. And that's why they brought her back. Because if she was such a pain in the ass and volatile in season 8 and all this other mess they're trying to paint her as, why bring her back? They could have easily have said, goodbye, you're a liar, we don't care. But they're trying to save face because of all the backlash that was pretty explosive. Schoolboy, what are your thoughts? Sound off.
I mean, number one, you don't have Tammy Roman. Wasn't Tammy Roman the whipping girl for years to keep them ratings? Tammy said, deuces, I ain't got time for the BS no more. I'm above it. I'm sick of Shawnee. I'm sick of this, because Tammy really thought that she had a friendship with Shawnee. Shawnee's phony as hell. And I don't even know why this show is still on at this point. I did watch last year, and last year took the cake for me. I'm done with it. I haven't been watching it. I don't want to see some old, almost 50-year-old heifers still trying to run with these young thought boxes, trying to catch the next bag when you're used up and you're out of date. The expiration date is over with. You need to let it go. And Evelyn, you got some nerve, ma'am. You didn't flip tables. You didn't ran across tables. You didn't threaten people. Now all of a sudden you're a devout Christian and Evelyn, quit insulting my damn intelligence. I am so sick of her. And Shawnee is just trying to keep this show, to keep these heifers with a check. Because ain't none of them got anything going on for us. Let me know what they got on. Like the same stuff as these Love and Hip Hop heifers. Fashion Super gigs, flat tummy tea that ain't working for nobody. They laying on the table getting their stomach sucked out. What else are they? Eyelash lines, makeup lines, same BS. I mean, Evelyn Lozada been selling them butterfly earrings since season 1. Ma'am, I need you to progress. I need you to progress. These women are way too old for this. VH1 needs to move on. Please get something else on TV. And Shawnee is going to be good regardless, okay? She done siphoned Shaq money. She got a weed dispensary. I mean, what else? She's good. The rest of these people need the money. And the reason why they brought OG back is because they needed ratings. let's be clear. The show is done. They just trying to save it, and I don't understand why. Let it go. But the girl does have legit claims. VH1 is playing at it like Bravo likes to play at Colorism. They like to play at it to placate to get y'all to watch the show. If y'all would just stop watching the show, it would just go down the toilet because ain't nobody else gonna watch it. I don't have a reason to watch it.
Yeah, Kaza Love, thank you so much for the super chat. I never liked Basketball Wives, Evelyn especially. She's scrambling for that now check since she hasn't secured her retirement sugar daddy yet. Yeah, that's sad. You know, she can't keep a man. As pretty as she is, they all keep leaving her one after the next. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to continue on with the report. Dr. Ivy, check your DMs. I just sent you something. So, okay. All right. The ladies were reassured by producers that the focus of the show would revolve around their personal lives and their individual lockdown challenges. Producers reportedly wanted to address the chatter around OG and the subject of colorism and promised the cast. Now, the producers are promising the cast that they would deal with the topic in a respectful and informative manner. Huh? Excuse me? They're not the victims here. Right? I don't know why they keep placating the likes of Evelyn. And it's Shawnee, really. I blame Shawnee. Shawnee is obsessed with Evelyn, okay? Sources told the outlet that some of the women became quote unquote uncomfortable with interacting with OG after she kept shifting her story on the subject. Okay. Let's just super chat. T-Ness, thank you so much for the super chat. Shawnee and Evelyn are the worst. I agree. They both act like two high school mean girls who want everyone to kiss their behinds. Yeah, absolutely. That is true. So, sources reported that many felt that OG, quote unquote, further exposed her hypocrisy during an exchange with Kristen. Kristen apparently sat down with OG in an attempt to find common ground after listening to OG's experiences. Kristen pointed out that they shared a similar skin tone in an attempt to advance the larger cast conversation on the topic. The ladies reportedly believe that OG disparaged Kristen's blackness, and I quote, telling her because of her Eurocentric features, colorism doesn't apply to her, end quote. Now I'm going to stop right there. Now that's Kristen on the screen. And then I'm going to put up a picture of OG so we can compare. That's Kristen. And this is OG here. See, that's an older picture from season 8. That's OG there in the corner. And here she is again here. I don't know if she has some work done. She looks a little different, but she looks good nevertheless. I'm going to stop there. And I'm also going to add Dr. EVA to the chat because she's Nigerian. And I feel that you can add value to this conversation, Dr. EVA.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I am back, ready to go.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. EVA, before you start, I know you have a lot to say specifically about Kristen. So producers sat Kristen down and OG down. They're both of the same, complexion, browner complexion. And Kristen says she hasn't experienced colorism. OG's comeback was, well, you have Eurocentric features. I don't. I have traditional African features. So colorism doesn't apply to Kristen. What are your thoughts?
It's not logical. Everything OG has said has been discussed prior to her arrival on the show, period. There's been a long-standing issue of colorism, number one, even before she got on the show. Number two, I think what OG's saying is valid. That doesn't mean she's less, like Kristen's less of a Black woman. It's not about that. And if you make it a comparison between other issues of discrimination, like for example, if there's discrimination against women at Fox, it doesn't necessarily mean that every single woman has to feel sexually exploited because of her being a woman. It just means that there's a larger issue in the culture, and how people experience it is an individual. It's an individual one. It does not negate what OG said. And actually, I find that to be very dishonorable and actually gaslighting her. The issue is, why is there a double standard between all of these women? And I do think colorism plays an issue. Plus, when we talk about sometimes xenophobia or a fear of people from other countries, that Africanness may play a role in that. We can't deny it. So a lot of these issues of discrimination are related. They're byproducts of racism, slavery, capitalism, all the isms. They're all kind of related because of how history has played out. But OG, I stand with OG, period.
Absolutely. And she's not just saying that because she's Nigerian. This is a very educated sister that will give you a very objective point of view. Plus, what are your thoughts on OG saying that colorism doesn't apply to Kristen because Kristen has typically Eurocentric features?
Well, I don't like when people tell someone else their experience, period. But with that being said, Kristen should not have used her experience to tell OG what her experience was. Just like the Terry Crews, Gabrielle Union issue. Just because you, Mr. Step and Fetch It, didn't experience racism at NBC does not mean that Gabrielle didn't. You can't speak to someone else's experience. So with that being said, only Kristen can say if she's experienced colorism in her life. I do think in this circle of friends and the things that we've seen, they're shallow, they're superficial. And Kristen does meet the traditional standards of beauty. She is, so that would mean on her level, between her and OG, it's more of a featureism versus colorism, but that doesn't mean that what OG experienced and what she felt from Shawnee, Evelyn, and the rest of the cast was not colorism. It's just like a white person saying, I have black friends. That's literally what they did, except on black people. I have dark skinned friends. Look at Kristen. Do you know how offensive that is?
Right.
And again, Kristen and Jennifer, to that point, fit a very specific mold of small nose, long hair, whether it's theirs or not, petite in shape. OG has a wider nose. Her features are more African. She's more shapely. All of those things that aren't traditionally favored in mainstream America. I saw somebody saying in the comments, well, that's because OG is ugly. What makes her ugly? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So we have to check ourselves. And that's what I don't like. That's what's missing here. No one wants to have the hard conversations. And the hard conversations is admitting that this stuff exists in our own communities. We do it to each other. Them using certain words, aggressive. Evelyn saying that she's fearful. Fearful of what? When again, you have physically attacked somebody year after year after year. You're fearful because this girl is using her words and having a conversation? No.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to acknowledge a super chat from Janet Hawkins. Thank you so much. Shawnee told us to get a life, and I did. She got $10K from Shaq from alimony, and her kids are older, going to college. She needs some money. Yeah. I also want to acknowledge another super chat, Crowned by Bria. Thank you so much, my love. Evelyn does have to openly be colorist. She instantly attacks OG's looks and features. She's trying to tear her down with words because she knows she wouldn't be able to bully/fight her. Yeah, OG will take her down. Yeah. Schoolboy, sound off. What are your thoughts?
Before I say something, whoever in the chat said that Monica is Caucasian. No, she's not. She's a black woman.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and check y'all on that. Whoever that was in the comments, you're ignorant.
And there's nothing wrong with being Caucasian.
It must be the first time you've been here, but let me go ahead and let you know she's black. Okay, we can move on now. I just, let me look. Okay, when you get to these TV shows, and let's be clear, when we watch TV shows, if you look at any black casting on any TV show, there's different variations of the rainbow. You have your Giselle Bryants and Robbins, which are more palatable to white people. You have your little caramel macchiato in there, and you got a little bit of milk chocolate, but it ain't dark. And then you have one person that's an eyeball of a dark chocolate. They do this in calling themselves of giving us a rainbow or a plethora of different women. My issue with Eva Lozana is, Heifer, you only want to claim black when it's convenient, either when you got some black penis in you or when you want to feel like you want to be black because you want to make money off of black people. You get on my nerves. I need you to pick a lane, Heifer, and stay in it. Okay? At 50, you need to pick a lane. Okay? You have ran through all of the major leagues that you can run through. There's nothing else for you to run through, man. I'm sick of you. Shawnee just need to honestly say, look, you was the light-skinned girl of the clique, okay? Dudes always fawned over you because of your skin tone. And, I mean, hell, your ex-husband has said some ignorant, distasteful comments about the Breonna Taylor situation, so I can see where I can see that. I get that. It's just, for me, it's like, yeah, OG does not show Eurocentric features. It's more, I'm with Plays, it's more featureism. And not more or less colorism. Her features are more of an African descent, okay? But I think Evelyn's issue with her biggest thing is that she busted her about that Chad Ochocinco, and that hurt her feelings. Because inside, it killed her to know that he was willing to deal with a woman that was fully African and not her, who has a certain look and a certain feature and is almost like an to me, interchangeable heifer look, because if you look at everybody that dates in the industry, they all look the same. They all look the same. They're all light skin, hair, trying to be black. Everybody got the baby hair and 30-inch weave. I mean, everybody looks the same. But nobody dates the average black woman anymore. It's just, and we uphold that in TV. And the problem is when you have producers and people that are close to the show, you also a producer and you're on the show, and then you also don't like a certain person, that doesn't help the cause either. I don't think they liked OG from the beginning because they just didn't like the girl. Just be honest, you just didn't like the girl. The same way y'all hazed and did Tammy Roman. This goes on every single show. They haze the new girl, they treat her like crap, and either they stay or don't go. Everybody knows VH1 has slave contracts. They get you on there for 6 or 7 seasons and you can't get out. And unless you got an attorney that's going to get you out of the contract, you're stuck. That's why OG is really there. It's because she can't get out of the contract. So she's obligated, so she has to be there. But I do think in a way, yeah, it is colorism. But to me, more so for me, it's featureism. She's not what people would find, the average person would find attractive. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, because it's not right. She's still a beautiful woman. Why does everybody have to look the same when we look on TV? And why isn't that black women don't stick together? You are so quick to ride on the non-black train with whatever they say, because everybody's trying to fit into the Mean Girls clique or the TV clique. And because if you look at Malaysia, she done got orange as hell over the season. Her skin tone has gotten lighter and lighter and lighter. Why is that? Because she wants to fit a certain look, because men in that industry are not attracted to someone of that complexion anymore. It's just, you don't see that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Beautifully animated. Thank you so much for the super chat. Shawnee actually said she was not a colorist because she married the blackest of the blackest man. Oh my God. Y'all pray for Shawnee. She needs help.
No, actually, that might actually be a demonstration that she benefits from colorism. Stop it.
Yeah.
You need to use logic. I'm sorry. I am heated about this topic. But on Schoolboy's point, let me just say this. It's hard to separate colorism from what you're calling featureism from what I would call colonialism, like the consequences of colonialism. Like, if we're so interested in the exotic look, she is the definition of exotic, meaning like something unique, non-traditional, non-status quo. However, why are we celebrating, people for example, I'm just throwing this out there, like Eastern European features, people who may come from, like, for example, Melania's village, or, those kinds of girls are applauded, celebrated. Ooh, that's the exotic model type of look. So for me, you can't necessarily separate the two. There are certain cultures, exotic cultures we uphold, and some we don't. So for me, stop it.
Yeah, it just ties into this faux standard of beauty. And one thing I want to say, what Schoolboy said about Ocho Cinco, the fact that this is where this originates from. And it's horrible because neither one of y'all are with the man. Both of you have moved on. He has as well. But one thing, I watched some of the like sports podcasts, and he recently did one where I don't know if he thought he sounded good. I don't know, but it was horrible. He said, he has a lot of children, multiple women. He chose the mothers of his children pretty much like how they did in slavery for breeding purposes. He wanted to know, that they were athletes, that they were powerful. So most of his children's mothers, I think pretty much all of them, are dark-skinned African American women. But he only marries Latino or Afro-Latina adjacent type women. So you were willing to make these babies all over the place with more African featured women because you wanted to produce strong athletes. But when it's time for you to actually settle down, make a home, put a ring on somebody's finger, like he's engaged now, you pick a more exotical or whatever we're calling it type of woman. It just, the whole mindset is so warped. And like Schoolboy said, that was, for whatever reason, insulting to Evelyn, even though you could see from his track record who he chose to make children with. So I don't know why you thought he would not possibly sleep with someone who looks like that. It's clear that he will sleep with whatever. He ain't got no type. His type is whatever he wants at the moment, except when he thinks he wants to put a ring on someone's finger. He then needs something a little different.
And I mean, who knows? He might not even marry this girl all the way. Ocho gives me that, and I follow him on Twitter. Ocho, he does give to his fans and stuff like that. He's cool, but there's times where I just be like, man, you just ass backward, because I don't understand that too. That's the same thing. Like, you will have a woman, dark kids with dark women, but then you don't want to marry a dark woman. What you bring is these interchangeable heifers that all look the same. They're all, Afro-Latina, but they only claim the blackness when it's convenient. That is my problem with it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go there, you need to be, in with the black all the way. And if you ain't gonna be with the black, then just say you whatever. Because that's my problem. Everybody's ready to be black until it's time to be black. Then it's I'm not black.
Exactly. And back to the comment about Shawnee said, "Oh, I'm married to my husband is black, so I understand black issues." Not necessarily. And actually, that may be a demonstration that you actually may benefit from colorism, to be honest. Perhaps. I mean, if there's a preference for light skin color and you marry a dark-skinned man, then that actually may be demonstration that you're profiting off of the system and not even aware. And that's the issue. Sometimes people don't understand or are not willing to acknowledge their own privilege. And it doesn't have to be universally applied. So, Shawnee, I see, that's the thing. What I want to hear from her or from anyone on that cast is just, like, be quiet and listen. Do not listen to respond. That means you're not listening. Just be quiet and listen to what she's actually saying. Even if you disagree, it's not really about you. It's about her experience. and then debate. You guys could debate the merits of her experience, but when you try and conflate issues, do not conflate issues. She can experience colorism, one, and two, that could be a separate debate about whether or not she's quote unquote aggressive, allegedly aggressive. If that term applies to her, it applies to every single woman on that cast. To me, one of the most violent people I've ever, to my knowledge, in my experience, was Evelyn Lozada. Really, the most crazy, explosive event. That is Basketball Wives. So to come and say like, "Oh, I feel uncomfortable," stop it.
Yeah.
Here's my other issue.
Dr. EVA, can I just acknowledge this super chat real quick before it disappears? Okay, sorry. Robin, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Miss Alexander J, thank you for the super chat. I still can't believe that Ev ran to Ocho for receipts after the abuse. Yeah, that was last season, right? She claims he abused her so badly, but she reached out to him for these text messages because she could not believe that he would text someone like OG, right? Mm-hmm. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't fathom. You ran to your abuser to discredit another woman because she threatened your beauty. Girl, much love to the panel. Thank you so much. And I also want to add So Debonair to the chat because he's actually an Evelyn fan. He has an opposing view. So I wanted to add him to the chat so we have a well-balanced conversation going on here. Hey, So Debonair.
Hey, everyone.
I still love you, even though you were Evelyn fan.
To me, this show it's always just been wrong. I mean, from day one, it's always been like that. So for me, I guess to hear them using colorism as anything on the show is kind of off because to me, they always like this with it didn't matter what color you were. I mean, they had that girl Keisha was on there. They went after her. Tammy was worse than Evelyn, and they was going at it every season. They was going at it. Jackie is even worse. Jackie's cuckoo crazy. So the whole situation is just wrong. The thing with me and OG is that the reason that I feel like that they don't really get along is because OG was kind of inserting herself in a lot of their issues once she got into the show. So I don't really think it's that she's the skin tone. I just think they don't like her. You know, everybody don't get along. So I think that's just what it is. I don't think it's anything outside of that. And then also, this is almost like the conversation we have about the housewives. These group of women all came in as actual real friends. And OG's not connected to really anybody on the show. So when they're kind of getting into it, it's almost like families fighting. But then you have this stranger coming in and they feel like, yo, like, why is there so much attitude towards me? Because of whatever the situation is at that time. So I guess for me, that's why I just don't feel like I feel like they just don't like her.
Right. That's my point, though, is that you cannot like someone and there can still be issues of colorism. Of course, they definitely don't like OG. But you know, I think one of the reasons they don't like OG does not care about your applause. Mm-hmm. She's independent. She moves independently, even though she has like a little bit of support from Jackie, like the other women who are a little bit outside of the Evelyn clique. Who else is on there? What's her name? Oh God, I forget. Jennifer. Okay, so even though they're kind of friendly, even then, OG will still go toe to toe with anybody as long as it's in alignment with her values and her principles. You're right. She inserted herself in other people's business. Is that or is that not reality TV?
Yeah, but I don't
know.
I think
Paul Debonair, your internet is like breaking up a little bit. Are you on a different connection tonight? Because we can't really, we hear you, but then sometimes it breaks up.
I'm on the same one I'm normally on. Can you hear me now?
Are you in Louisiana or Texas or something? We've been having internet problems down there. Yeah, the connection's a little shaky. I'm going to take you out and then bring you back in. Okay, let's see if that works for a little bit. I don't know what's going on.
To his point, though, it's all nuanced, right? Like, you cannot like somebody but the underlying subconscious implicit bias shows through when you attack the person. If it's just, girl, I don't like you in my business, get out my business. You can attack somebody on a character level without stooping to their looks. Like I agree that some people throw the colorism thing out there just as a red herring. We are already covered that and said that for Real Housewives of Potomac at the reunion when they brought it up with Dr. Winnie. That wasn't colorism. She was high key aggressive. Like, and there was no other way to describe what she was doing. They weren't being colorist at her. Like, she was going at their necks and she was new to the club. Like, man, why are you so mad about this girl bringing her baby here? That wasn't colorism, though. In the OG situation, I do see it being, like I said, if not colorism, definitely featureism. And it's because of how they attacked her. Nobody went at Dr. Wendy's features, color, hair. Nobody was upset. Why my husband would never, you know what I'm saying? My man would never. I love when women say what their man wouldn't do.
Right?
I'm here to tell you, sis, he will. Most of them will. Anything that come in their inbox or that's willing to give them a little play, they will. Most of them. There ain't no type. When they horny, it's whatever's there. So don't ever get that beside yourself where you think, oh my God, he wouldn't. Why wouldn't he? And that's what lends itself to what is going on here. And even if you say, oh, well, she's just ugly. Why is she ugly? And when people start spelling out those things, then you see the colorism and the featureism come out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and plus she wasn't gonna kiss Shaunie O'Neal's ass. Shaunie likes people to kiss her ass. Excuse me, Shaunie, you are nobody. If it wasn't for Shaq's money, we wouldn't even know who you were, ma'am. And that's Shaunie's problem. You're pumped up due to Shaq, but when Shaq said that, the police was right to do what they did to Breonna Taylor, I was done with him right there when he made that comment on TNT. So that further lets me know that, okay, you married a man that aligns with that, and therefore he wanted to be with a woman that was lighter because he wanted lighter children because of whatever his experiences were when he was a kid. He wanted to be with a woman that was lighter. See, people don't really realize this shit goes deeper than a TV show. It goes deeper to what's inside of these people.
Right.
It is a TV show, don't get me wrong. But Evelyn, Evelyn, and I have been around, y'all have to understand, I'm gay, but I be in a lot of straight places and I have a lot of straight friends, okay? And when women that are more of a lighter shade or considered the more prettier girl of the group, and there's a girl that's more considered more average or more dark skinned, but yet she comes in with the guy that they feel is way out of her league, they get upset about that because it's like, oh, why she with him? Why she with him? Mm-hmm. Same thing about dudes. When dudes see another girl with a guy that's maybe out of shape or he's a bigger dude, but she's pretty, she would be considered as a 10. It's like, ugh, how did you pull that? Ain't no way he being faithful. People like what they like. And it's not always about aesthetic on the outside. It may be something about their personality and who they are on the inside. You could be the most prettiest person on the outside, but you could be ugly as hell on the inside. And to me, most of those women on that cast are ugly on the inside. And they are grasping at straws on this TV show to stay relevant. Basketball Wives, to me, is over with, and they need to let it go. Shaunie is keeping it alive to keep them all in check, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. April, thank you so much for the super chat. How you doing, sis? Two things can exist in the same time. They don't like OG, but much of their animus is rooted in colorism. The use of the monkey emoji by Evelyn made it clear that colorism is present. Yep, and I have those texts or the post that Evelyn made with the monkey emoji that kicked off the lawsuit. But I also want to just make a point and say something really fast before we move on. Ladies, stop telling your men about your friend that gets around. And I don't like using the slut word or the hoe, but I do use this, hoes. If you have a friend that's a hoe, don't tell your man about what that friend is doing with other men. Because meanwhile, he's going, ooh, gross, but he's going to be trying to get with that girl. So stop doing that. And a lot of times light-skinned women feel like, oh, well, she's dark-skinned. My man wouldn't like her. listen, if she gets around and she's doing all kinds of freaky things to people, he's going to want to get with her. So stop telling your man about those women. Stop. Oh, let's keep this thing moving. So the cast reacted to what OG said to Kristen, okay? The ladies reportedly believe that OG disparaged Kristen's blackness. And I quote, telling her because, okay, I already read that. Okay. Did I read that? Telling her because of her Eurocentric features, colorism doesn't apply to her. End quote. Sources reported that the ladies were tired of OG's attitude because they believed that she was not interested in open dialogue, but wanted to, quote, isolate her own perspective in a way that was weaponizing and further divisive. End quote. Producers supposedly thought that OG was using colorism as a made-for-TV storyline due to her shifting opinions. One source alleged that it appeared that she had concocted a fake colorism storyline for season 9. Let's get into it. It seems to me like the ladies are weaponizing this situation against OG, right? They think they're slick. They're playing mind games. They're trying to gaslight OG. So, Debonair, sound off. What do you think?
I guess, and maybe you guys can clear this up for me because maybe I'm missing something here. What is the actual definition of colorism? Does anyone even know?
I mean, I can Google it. I can give you the textbook definition of it.
I'm asking because more of, like, every time, like even with OG's rebuttal, it wasn't about her actual skin color. It was about her facial features. So I guess that's probably where a lot of people are kind of confused at when it comes to using that word.
Okay. It is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, like even with OG's rebuttal to Kristen, because even when I first heard, I'm like, well, Jennifer's dark skin, Kristen's dark skin. So I just don't see it being because of her skin tone for me. Even with the post that Evelyn made with the monkey on it, I don't see her doing that purposely as like you were gorilla, knowing the backlash that comes with that. Because this is their only source of income, besides her selling earrings. So I just couldn't see her making a mistake like that purposely towards OG to gaslight this whole fire of, we don't like her because she's this color or whatever it is. That's what I have for that. I like I said, I think that because Jennifer and Kristen are of the same color skin tone towards me when I'm looking at it, it just doesn't seem like that could be the issue.
But you cannot like somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't like a lot of people. I don't text them monkeys. So that's what I'm saying. It may not be conscious, but that's what implicit bias is. There is something in you that says, I can't stand this B. I'm going to send her a monkey emoji. Like, why? Like, if I don't like you, I'm going at your neck about whatever it is about you I don't like. And if the thing about you that I don't like is that you a black, I'm just using the words, a black ugly monkey, then you know what I'm saying? So that's where nobody, most people are not going to out of their mouth say, yes, I'm colorist. Yes, I don't like her because she's dark skinned. Yes, I don't like her because she black and got nappy hair and she ugly. My man would never sleep with her. But that's really the root of it. We're all in this community. We've all grown up in the schoolyard. We know what to say to people when we're mad at them. Yeah. We know where to hit them where it hurts. And traditionally, African features, wide noses, big lips, big booty, except now the big booty part is acceptable. Certain types of big booties. Some types of big booties ain't in style. But you know what I'm saying? We know where those pockets are. Like somebody else just said, OG is ugly. Like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And again, if you explain to me why she's ugly, I can almost guarantee you that person's going to say, she got a big old nose, her eyes big, her lips big, her, So all of those things that you're describing are technically featureism, but can devolve into colorism. You'll never see it side by side unless you saw a lighter skinned person with the same features.
Right. And this was what I was going to say before was the reason why I feel like they really don't like her was because of what Cece said, it wasn't a secret, but she exposed Kristen's family about that man not being her husband's dad or something like that. I think that's, to me, when like everything kind of turned for them, because they feel like she was exposing family secret. Even though Cece said it wasn't a secret, no one knew that but the family.
But Evelyn was trying to attack OG's features before that, talking about her toes overlapping the sandals and the way she dresses and making fun of her wig before that even happened, LKZ2, thank you so much for the super chat. Throw Debonair out the chat. No, we're not going to do that. Don't do that. He's here. He has a difference of opinion, and it's welcome. It's okay. We got to keep the panel balanced. It's okay to have a different perspective from everyone else. Tamara, thank you so much for the super chat. They need to change the word colorism to Europeanism. Okay. All right.
I mean, that makes more sense though. From the logic, from like someone listening or watching and think, because I mean, the word color just sounds like it's based off of her skin tone, and that's it.
Okay.
I think that's part of it. I think that's a huge part of it. If she was light-skinned, in my opinion, and had the same features, I don't think this would be such a blow up, and I don't think they would be so nasty towards her, honestly.
They treated Tammy like that when she first came on. They treated Tammy like trash when she first came on because her wigs were bad. She couldn't dress. They always was fighting with her. They treated Tammy the same way.
Yeah, but Tammy wasn't gonna take that ish from them, and Tammy finally bucked up and realized these heifers ain't my friends, and that's why she got up off that show. It was toxic. They were using her to get the ratings. The ratings were low without Tammy. Let's be real. The show has never stayed on high ratings because after a while, I mean, how many times can we see Jackie Christie be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? How many times can we see Evelyn go from man to man or claim abuse? How many times can we go? You know what I mean? You've recycled it out so much. Women that I would want to see on Basketball Wives wouldn't be caught dead on that show. So you can just go ahead and wrap it up. Because I would want to see like the Savannah James of the game, the ones that actually are wise, men do have coins and do have generational wealth. These women don't have that. They're just there. And then when she brought the Govan sisters on, that was because that was some shade. Because one of us, Shawnee is doing this because she's grasping at straws. And when Tammy had the idea of having Basketball Wives of Houston, she shut that down because Tammy was going to be the executive producer. Shawnee didn't want Tammy to get no more than what she could give her in the shine. So when Tammy found that out, oh, you up here, throwing slugs. Okay, I'm done. Because that's where Tammy lives, in Houston. I only go here because I'm filming or doing whatever I'm here for the months. So it's like at the same time you want to justify it, but at the same time you can't justify it because it is what it is. They just don't like the girl. She doesn't come off as a European look, and it pissed Evelyn off to know that a darker skinned woman could have her man. That's what messed her up. The ego, the blow to the ego. Evelyn Lozada does have a good body. Yes, at 50, she is banging. But think about it. She has not retained not one man. They hit it, quit it, and replace her with something younger that looks just like her. Ask Carl Crawford.
Okay, but is she really 50?
She's close to it. I mean, a lot of them
yeah, she's close to it.
I say 50 because y'all too old to be acting like this.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, if we agree that there are issues with futurism or European-centric views, is that not a problem? If they were treating Tammy the same way, doesn't that tell you that this is not an isolated incident? That there's a long-standing history of discrimination or maltreatment? That is still a problem, even if we don't agree on the terminology. There is I mean, I feel like screaming. Hello? And that's my issue, is like, this is not in a vacuum. What's going on in the show is what's going on in the country. Everybody needs to wake up. I've said this before, that there's a larger reckoning in this country about how we approach women, sexual assault. Okay, there's a larger reckoning of how we address issues of police brutality and treatment of African Americans in this country. So to me, it's like, now she's just calling a name to what has been going on, whatever you want to call it. We can, debate what is this actually, but whatever it is bad.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. House of the Princess, thank you so much for the super chat. Tammy was not as dark. They were classist towards Tammy. She whooped their ass and they left her alone. That pretty much sums it up. They were very elitist. Jen B, thank you so much for the super chat. And I also have a few others I want to acknowledge. Crowned by Bria says, if Evelyn is truly Afro-Latina, then she knows what the emoji stood for. She has an implicit bias towards dark-skinned women, which is why she goes directly to attacking OG's features. Yeah, I agree with that. Love Brown 2010, thank you so much for the super chat. And this is directed at you, So Debonair. Why did they separate her at the reunion? They separated OG. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Everybody want to know.
They separated her because of why they're in two different houses this season, because they don't want to be. Well, actually, I think this season, while they're in separate houses, it's because they're being petty. Because now you want to call her colorist. We're going to play with you. We're going to put you in another house. I don't want to film with you, which means you're going to get less and less money because you're not going to be on as many episodes. I think they're just being petty with that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason why they said that she was aggressive. But
was it the same thing when Monique Samuels did it? Didn't they give it the same? Didn't they give the same energy to her?
Thank you.
I mean, I don't believe that. I think that they were just being petty again, because I mean, if that was the case, Tammy should have never been on the stage. Evelyn shouldn't have been on the stage. I mean, on any of those.
Evelyn shouldn't have been on the stage.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm just giving as an example. If you think about it, Monique Samuels was done the same way. Different platform, same thing. She's not African, but it was labeled as aggressive. Okay, well, if somebody keep pushing your buttons, I'm gonna bust you in your nose, and I'm gonna let you know, stop messing with me. Mm-hmm. So that like I said, you gotta, that colorism thing, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them, and that's the problem where sometimes we throw it in there, but then we're not sure 100% now that with this girl, it was colorism, but also I just think as well featureism, and they don't like the girl. Just don't like the girl. Mm-hmm. She wasn't going to kiss their ass.
But to me, that's where production and whoever the powers are that be come into play, because as we've said, people have watched this show for years. The main reason people watch the show is because the knockdown, drag out fights with Evelyn Lozada and Tammy Roman. So if none of those ladies were ever separated from the rest of the cast, OG should not have been separated and isolated from the rest of the cast. And when you have examples that these same things have happened in the past, but now this person, you're taking these types of actions, there's only so many things left to explain it. And people are going to start arriving at their own conclusions. It is what it is. And so production is not doing themselves any favors. Everybody signed the same contracts. You get in this scene in film, or we doing one big house, or nah, we're canceling it. They should not have that level of manipulation over the whole show. Because if that's the case, let the girl out of her contract and keep it moving. She don't want to be there no way.
You know what? It's almost like when when Wendy was saying that Potomac, that she didn't come in playing like Karen was big sister to her. I feel like OG came into the situation like she don't have to kiss nobody's butt. You know, she is who she is. And I think probably that's what this all comes from. Because when Kristen came in, she was doing that. She even tried to put Cece down that line. Well, Cece was trying to suck up to them to be their friend or whatever. OG never came in like that. So to me, I guess that's where I feel like it's really coming from.
Nikki Rogers, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's not forget that she called OG dirty as well. And she was not referring to dirty as you need to take a bath, right? Her skin tone dirty. I remember that. Brittany D, thank you so much for the super chat. And another one from Nikki Rogers. Let's not forget that same thing. Let's not forget she called OG dirty as well. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, yeah. I really do feel they don't like OG because of her features and her dark skin combined. So it's featureism, it's colorism, all those things wrapped up. With Tammy, it was a little different. She's light skinned, but she was on food stamps and she had like the dollar store weave and stuff. It was elitism, where's your Chanel bag kind of thing. They're snooty, her and Jennifer, And Jennifer gets a pass because she's brown skinned, but she has those Eurocentric features, very slim, straight nose, very European type body, the 25-inch or 30-inch weave or whatever is in her head. So,
Right. But may I also add, Monica, I think it's more than just that person, the castmate, and their appearance. I think the issue is about the larger culture. If you subscribe to the dominant culture, you're covered, regardless of your skin color. I mean, we could use different examples. I mean, I don't even know how to explain this, but basically what I'm saying is that if the dominant culture is your standard Eurocentric beauty, whatever, and you're at least friends with them or suck up to them, regardless of your skin tone, you're covered to some extent. And I think the issue, like everyone has said, is that OG does not care. She's not here for anyone to approval. She's not trying to fit in. She's trying to be herself. If you like it, great. If you don't, it's also great. Even better, actually.
Yeah. And Monica, I saw something in chat and it really disturbs me. I don't know if that was a black person, white person, whatever, but black people, yes, I don't care how ugly you think somebody is, do not use a monkey emoji towards another black person. Don't. It's horrible. It's low class. It's degrading. And you should not weaponize something that has been weaponized against us as a community for years because you got beef with somebody else. There are so many words and things you can call somebody. Do not call them a monkey because it only reflects poorly on you as well, not just the person you're trying to get at. That's horrible. I would never do that.
As well,
and I hope y'all wouldn't either.
I want to add to that. When you get mad at someone, don't call your fellow African brother or sister a booty scratcher. Don't do that. Don't banana boat. Those are all derogatory, low-class terms that we should not use against each other. Don't do that. I hate that stuff. I really do.
I guess someone in the chat said, Monica, we've all in the panel made fun of Tambra and Bell Collective, and her features. So we're wrong for doing that. But I mean, how does that read?
I try very hard not to talk. I try very hard not to talk about anybody's features, and I don't remember any of us saying anything bad about her features. I said she could use a better stylist for her hair and her lip color choices. That's not talking about her features. I don't think she's an ugly woman. I think the beauty that meaning the styling that she uses does not play up her features to her advantage. But I for doggone sure never called her a monkey and never will. Like that is just not something I'm willing to do against another black person ever. Because I know the history of that in this country and what that means to so many people.
Miss Johnson, thank you. Miss Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And Brittany D, thank you for the super chat. Hi, panelists. Just wanted to send my support. Monica, I always learn so much from the panelists, and your channel is the only one that I actually turn on notifications for. Why, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Miss Brittany. We appreciate you. We really do.
I will say this too. I have always had issues about my nose and my features. At one point, I wanted to get a nose job because typically in the LGBTQIA community, they like the more light-skinned studs. They like the more light-skinned with the dreads and a certain look. So at a lot of times I felt insecure because of my features and what I looked like. And I had to learn to love my damn self and the hell with what y'all think, because somebody else might find me beautiful, but you may not like me, but I'm okay with that. So I had to struggle with that too. As Black people, we struggle with that because society, and we do it to each other. As Monica has said, we do it to each other. We use the same rhetoric that it was used to us in slavery. We use it to each other. And that doesn't matter what sexuality, what color, what shade. We do it to each other all the time. But it's different when it's in real life versus on TV. It's magnetized when it's on TV. And it seems as if it's getting worse and worse and worse on TV. And now that we are in this movement, this Black Lives Matter movement, and we're in this stage of progression in the world, you see it even more, and you can pay attention to it a lot more.
Very well said. And you're beautiful, just the way you are. April B, thank you so much, my love, for the super chat. It's easy to miss the forest for the trees when a lived experience is foreign to you. Yeah, that's so true. Malika, thank you so much for the super chat. It's classism. Yeah, that's what it was against Tammy. Classism. That's right. As if they're high class, give me a break because they own a Chanel bag. But that's right. They look down on Tammy. So to continue the story, multiple cast members reportedly walked off the set after OG started to become confrontational with two newbies, Nia and Nora Dorsey. Production shut down for a few days because the cast wanted producers to rein OG in and get her spiral in control. The cast eventually returned to finish out the season. Now, someone in the chat had mentioned the tweets that these are the tweets that triggered Evelyn to sue OG for defamation of character. So this was the original one that Evelyn tweeted, right? With the orangutan. It's not even a monkey, it's orangutan. Nobody watches you harder than the people that can't stand you. Now, why would you include that in there? Why? She knew what she was doing. I mean, she can play stupid all she wants. So then OG took that and she retweeted it. So some fan page added these words on here. So now Black women are monkeys. Everyone boycott this trash box. You are disgusting. Then OG retweeted it. And I can't see because part of the words are covering up. Plus, can you read that for me? Some of the words are covered up on my screen.
Okay. It says, and there it is. Show your true colors, you racist bigot. You called Cece Ling Ling, Jackie a cockroach, and now me a monkey. May God take care of you. Well, Evelyn Lozada at VH1, not okay. A bunch of hashtags. I Heart OG, Nigerian Knockout, BBWLA, VH1, Basketball Wives, Evelyn Lozada, the racist. Boom.
Yeah. And that prompted Evelyn to sue OG for defamation of character. Plus, does Evelyn have a case? Is the lawsuit still active? It didn't go away. A lot of people thought it went away, but it didn't.
I don't know what is she suing for?
Defamation of character. She says she's not a racist, that OG is violent, and that made producers put OG in a separate house because OG is using this colorism, racism thing for storylines. I don't know, racism.
So, look, like I've said many times before, when you say have a case, anybody can have a case if they file one. Is it a good case? It will just depend on the judge and her jury that she picks. I will say two top defenses to defamation specifically are truth and opinion. So if I can say that whatever you did, if I say, oh, he robbed my house and you robbed my house, then it's true. So you likely wouldn't win. The other thing is opinion. And I can have my opinion. So if it's her opinion that Evelyn is racist, and if she can properly document why that's her opinion, then Evelyn may not have much of a case. The other part is that you have to prove that whatever the person said caused you to lose something. So Evelyn would then have to also show that, like, she had some other show or something, maybe with one, I don't know if she still has her shops where people refuse to do business with her shops because of this allegation. Schoolboy is saying no. But it would be like that. She would have to show that that OG's opinion of her caused her some type of harm that you can actually measure. So we'll just see how it plays out, you know.
Miss Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. My best friend is Nigerian and they are super proud. They will rather starve in the cold than bow down to anyone. I'm like that too. Yeah. I'm not Nigerian, but I'm the same way. And that's a beautiful thing. Schoolboy, Schoolboy, do you feel Evelyn has a legit case?
Well, you know, she trying to claim that she lost them flat tummy tea ads and everybody fashion over ads and whatever them fake earrings she been selling since season 1. And you know, Evelyn need to go somewhere and sit down. I don't even know how she got any money. She taking Carl Crawford, she taking Leo child support to sue this woman. Ma'am, sit down and have several seats, okay? Because if anything, Jennifer should have sued your ass for that time you ran across that table and tried to take that bottle in her head. She should have sued you then. Okay, Evelyn should have been put off the show then with that aggressive behavior, but she's been given a pass because she's up Shawnee O'Neal's snatch. So therefore, she's keeping the job at VH1. I don't even know how at this point VH1 is allowing Shawnee to continue to be the producer of the show, executive producer, knowing that she is so invested in the mess on all of the fronts that's going on the show. I think just Evelyn wants a moment. She got to keep relevancy. You know, she tried to go over there to Yana Van Zant. That didn't work. Own tried to give her that reality show that was boring. It was like watching paint dry because she ain't got no personality without her arguing with somebody. So then she came back over to VH1, back on the same BS. And now you're talking about you done found Jesus. Ma'am, if you found Jesus, God told you to turn the other cheek and forgive your brother or your sister. Forgive that woman and move on. Evelyn, I don't know if this is a clout chase, ma'am, but I'm just tired. I'm tired of the franchise. I'm tired of VH1. They have dragged this series out and Love and Hip Hop so far. They can't drag it out no more. Let it go. It's ridiculous. And if I was the judge and you came into my court, I would have did the same thing that the judge did to Monique and Candace. Bang the gavel, get out of here. Please. You both was arguing with each other. This got to what it was. You're on a reality TV show. Get out of my courtroom. You wasting taxpayer money and time up in here in this courtroom. It's absolutely ridiculous, Monica. And at this point, the fans, I mean, it's just, are y'all not feeling just like a little bit lower in IQ by watching this mess? Because I do. That's why I don't watch it.
So, Debonair, do you feel your girl Evelyn has a case? What are your thoughts on the lawsuit? Is it frivolous?
Again, I just feel like it was petty. I think these women are petty people. They feel, to me, like someone has said earlier, these are like the mean girls in high school. Like when they come onto the show, I feel like she did this out of pettiness, period. But I want to say this though, because when I said that I like Evelyn, I also said I know she's always wrong as well. But when she posted that that thing with the monkey on it, she did say that when she posted, she typed in laughing emojis, and that is what comes up like as one of the top laughing emojis on there as well.
I've never seen that come up, so
She must have a different Google than mine.
She must have a different Google than mine.
Even if that comes up, you can pick another one. Like, let's be real.
Maybe we'll be talking to Instagram about taking that off of there if it's offensive, because I mean, it's the hardest laughing emoji that's on there.
Yeah, but she knows that's offensive. It's so rude and it's so demeaning, and she knows what she was intentionally doing. In my opinion, Evelyn needs her ass beat. That's just my opinion. Dr. Ivy, Dr. EVA, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like maybe Evelyn has a valid case?
Actions have consequences. Did Nick Cannon do this? Like, everyone has been, has had issues. and had consequences to their behaviors, whether or not you agree with what it is. Actions have consequences. 1, 2, I think this is universal. Like, anybody who can hear me, this whole gorilla emoji comparing people to black people to a monkey, that's a no. That's a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
Just like blackface. That's a no.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, she knows better than that. Evelyn was doing that to be malicious. She doesn't like OG because OG represents, like you said, that girl who couldn't sit with them at the lunch table. You know, I think OG being Nigerian plays a factor in it as well. Not just the features, but culture wise, you know.
And then also she's a football player. Like she's a whole different dynamic type of a woman than all these ladies are. So they're intimidated by that. Her success is not based off of a man. It's based off of her, period. So that's probably another reason why they don't like her, because even if she her and Kwame don't get married, she's still gonna be able to live off of her own income, and they just can't do that.
They said the same thing about Serena Williams. What about the article about her and how her features were not of a certain look? Because Serena is more stacked and more built than her sister. Come on, get out of here with that mess. It's all about physicality and what it looks like on TV and how it looks in the skin tone and what they. I mean, come on, like is BS. People just don't want to say aesthetically. Certain people look a certain way on TV and they look a certain way. They like a certain feature. And if you look a certain feature, you're more palatable to white people to sit down and watch the show. Because guess what? You act the fool on the show, and that's what white people believe that we are.
Well, I don't even care how they feel, how we are. We need to stop always catering to how they feel. We are who we are, and we're a dynamic group of people. We have all types of attitudes and all that stuff in the mix. I don't care how they feel about us. I just want us to treat each other better. In my opinion, Evelyn is not Afro-Latina like she keeps claiming. I mean, where did that come from?
She said she wasn't on Twitter.
Yeah, I was going to ask
2019, go back.
I had actually Googled it, and like her parents, neither one of them are black. So I don't know where that came from. Even when she found her grandfather, he wasn't black.
She said that when OG brought up that she was colorist, but when somebody went and found the Twitter messages where someone asked her, was she black back in 2018, 2019, she said no, she was not.
Wow. Okay, well, there you have it. So this whole Afro-Latina stuff is a lie, just to justify her behavior and sending OG that monkey orangutan or whatever that thing was. Oh, goodness gracious. I think they're tearing you up in the comments, so Debonair.
Listen again. I said I like Evelyn, but I do know that her and Malaysia and the rest of them always be wrong. I didn't, and the reason why I just like the show is because it's just like, what's the girl's name who liked the Housewives? Because everybody who's problematic, she like them. That calls in.
Lakeisha.
I just like the problematic people on the shows, guys. That's it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, I'm over this show. I really am. I have not watched one episode since the season started. I did watch last season 8, where they had the big showdown in, was it Central America someplace? It wasn't Belize. It was one of those countries.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, one of the Latin Caribbean countries. And Evelyn was beating her vagina, really, like just beating it. Did you see that? She was pounding in her vagina. Yeah. And what was she saying while she was pounding on her vagina?
Bragging on her pee, talking about it's this and that, and I'm like, well, you don't keep a man.
I think she was trying to tell OG that he wanted her vagina or something. That was after OG exposed them text messages.
She was after Tammy Roman said that. This is after Tammy Roman said that she called Tammy and told her that she was also the aggressor in that argument with him in the car, and there was a back and forth, and that's why they came to blows. But then when she got on TV, it was a totally different story. So it's one of those things where, yes, he lost his career by allowing you to take him there, but you also aggressed him according allegedly, to what she told Tammy. So it's like, you know, like I said, Evelyn liked to play the victim and play that role, but you can miss me with that I want to be black when it's convenient. I can't stand Evelyn Lozada for that simple fact. I understand that you're trying to play a villain on the show, but man, your tweets and your actions show me totally otherwise, that this is just who you are. Just own it. I respect you a lot more if you owned it.
Absolutely. And she'll never do that. She'll flip this around. Now she's the victim. Sorry, Plus. She's the victim now. She can't be in the same house with OG. OG is doing this and OG's doing that. They're gaslighting OG. If I was OG, I would just walk away from this trashy show because it does nothing for your reputation anyway, right? I'm going to add Levon to the stream. Hey, Levon. How you doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So I just wanted to say that there's no doubt in my mind that Evelyn Lozada did not know what she was doing when she sent that monkey emoji. Any grown woman in her right mind knows what she's doing when she attacks another black woman on that level. She purposely chose a monkey emoji to make a certain point. There's no mistake in my mind about that. And when it comes to her being sued, I don't think that she has a case whatsoever for the same exact reasons that Plez says. You know, even if she did lose endorsements, who's to say that you didn't lose this endorsement because you were up on national TV, hitting your vagina, screaming like a mad woman, trying to fight people? Who wants to be associated with that? What does that, what does that have to do with OG saying, like, I would not want you there with me either? You know what I mean? Like, she could have lost endorsements for anything, and it's about time. I've been watching the Basketball Wives for a few years now, and Evelyn has never been one of my favorite people because she constantly has made me feel as though she is just a bully, and I always related with the other person. This is the very first time that I saw someone stand up to Evelyn, and she completely cowered, put her tail between her legs, and now she can't film with this girl. I think that she's afraid to. I don't think that she's, afraid on a physical level. I think she's afraid that OG's going to just outsmart her and embarrass her. And there's nothing that Evelyn can do because her tactics that worked in the past are not going to work on OG. If she jumps on a table, OG would just flip the table. If she comes at her with a stick, OG would just throw her down the same way she did before. There's nothing that Evelyn can do against her. She can't outsmart her with her mouth or anything. So that's why she won't film with her. It's an old tactic, getting the girls out to film with her, to push her out the show. It's just sad and pathetic to me at this point.
It really is. And I agree with you on every aspect of that. She started a fight she can't finish. And now, because of public backlash, it's not really her losing endorsements. It's her losing the fans, right? She used to be a fan favorite for a long time. Don't ask me why. She was never my favorite. But she was. So for her to receive so much hate on social media, she can't handle it. She hates how the tide has turned, and how is it this dark-skinned African woman coming on the show nobody knows about, able to influence the fan base so much? That's what's really pissing her off, if you ask me.
Absolutely. I believe also what Schoolboy was saying, that she was just so upset that Ocho Cinco was hitting on OG. The look in her face, the way her jaw dropped, and she was like, what? And then OG pulled out the receipts. I saw Evelyn's soul just crumble. She was so embarrassed. She thought she was so fly, so hot. And then here comes OG. Well, your man wanted me too. He likes athletes or whatever she said. Evelyn could have crumbled. And that's why she would never be the same around OG. She knows she can never take out OG in any kind of way.
Yeah, she said it. She's like, I'm your athlete, your favorite athlete's favorite athlete. I think
that's what it was.
It's like, go girl. Sorry, that was petty, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's what really pissed her off, though. It really pissed her off. Like, what? No way. You're lying. It can't be true. Yeah. Not my Ocho, the abuser that beat my behind. No way.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. No. I know. Yeah, she couldn't believe it. Levon, thank you so much for calling in. I always love your perspective on things. I hope you're staying warm and safe.
Yes, I'm in California. Sorry.
Oh, good.
You're fine. You go ahead and get off the screen, Levon.
I know, right? Bye. Thank you, my love. Bye. I'm going to add Princess to the chat. Hey, Princess. Hey, Princess. Let me acknowledge this super super chat. Shar, thank you so much for the super chat. When I searched the GIF on social media, it was like 10 other GIFs before the orangutan popped up. Stop lying, Ev. Yeah.
No, it's on Instagram though. It is. It's like on the second row. So.
Mm-hmm. RJRS968, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Levon, for pointing this out. Evie has met her match. Yeah. Princess, my love, what are your thoughts on tonight's discussion?
I agree. Look, Evelyn is ugly. Okay, first of all, and y'all could take that any way that you want to take it. To me, if you ugly on the inside, you ugly on the outside. And I still have a hard time believing that she's only 45. That is my age group. And I could not sit next to any female that calls her a grown woman that will sit there and have no problem humbugging the way that they do. Okay. I always tell y'all I have poor people's problems, but baby, I got a whole lot of class. And she would not, no matter how many dollars she had, be able to sit next to me in the Drake Hotel or a McDonald's, either, like Chad Ochocinco says he takes his dates. Okay. She's lowbrow, lacks class. And I used to kind of like her, but as the seasons have progressed, it's just terrible to me. She is a bully. This is a Mean Girls show. That was part of the entertainment from it. I am a Jackie fan because she gives them the go. Okay. And just the back and forth would be entertaining to me. But she was not a good friend to Jennifer. And Jennifer is a pushover and she is a doormat. And that is why they were friends, because there's always that one girl that has the other girl that's cute enough for her to walk with and be next to. Okay, I can deal with you, but you can be my lackey. And they don't even realize that they're the lackey in the relationship until Jennifer made her mad. And you see her walk in a very nice restaurant, humbug, and throw them bottles and embarrass those people in that place. I don't care where you're from, New York, New Jersey, the South, the North, Antarctica. We know right from wrong. And Evelyn does a lot of wrong. Please do not be mistaken. Tammy Roman, and this is why I think they older too, because I was a teenager when Tammy was on The Real World, and they supposed to be always in the same age group. And I do know from being in the industry, and let me be clear for some of those who have mistaken, I know a lot of things because I've been in the industry. I'm an actress. I've been to these rooms in these parties, and I see what these people do. They do lie about their age, they lie about their money, and they lie about their whereabouts. And a lot of these things are illusions to entertain you. Tammy didn't have no money. She ran out of money. I can believe that. They treated her bogusly. And like I said, she got to whooping on that behind, and they said, oh, let's not try her anymore. She grabbed Evelyn by her head and by her snout and said, try me. And guess what? 2 seasons later, they were friends. Tammy has said in an interview that they told her to fight these people. They staged these episodes in order to make the conflict continue to happen so the show can get ratings. I believe Evelyn does the same, but it's just something about Evelyn that is dark and that is ugly about her that comes out outside of the show that it cannot be erased. Okay, she's mean. And OG is a real G. She's a football player. Yeah. Evelyn knows she get punched in the face by OG that she may not recover as well as she have by Tammy. Tammy will slap you old school, but OG is going to beat your behind, and she's afraid of that. She's afraid because OG say, look, and I slept with your man. She played that card so well. I'm glad that she had that joker. Now, Evelyn rests on her poom poom, okay? Let's look at her episodes of the men that she has had, okay? Like Monica said, don't tell your friends about your whorish little friend, okay? Evelyn has rested on her pretty, and she's rested on her punani. She's getting too old to rest on the punani because the mouths is going too far, okay? So OG said, that's why I had your man. And she was insulted because she thinks OG is lesser than her. not just because of where she come from. It's her color, her money, who she been with. She thought that she was lesser than her, just like she thinks Jennifer is lesser than her, just like she thinks Jackie is lesser than her, and any other dark woman. So y'all could be in the outs, you know what I'm saying, in the clouds with this. I grew up in a colorist household, okay, and I've heard every slogan about a dark-skinned woman, and from my granddaddy all the way down, okay, and being in the house and out the house, okay. It's just natural. It's just natural to a lot of people in my age group. That's the way we grew up. When you go into the industry, I didn't make it. They didn't have to hear me say a line. They would look at me and say, well, because I've always been big chested, I was too big, no matter how much I starved myself and had my stomach flat. Either I was too big or I was too dark, and I didn't have the European features that when my hair was all the way down my back, and I wasn't light enough. There's a certain look that the industry has looked towards for years, and just now it is opening up the doors for bigger girls and darker girls. Now it's sexy. Oh, you can have a big booty. Oh, you can have a chest. Now that's sexy. Back then when they started, it was not sexy, and that is bred in them, and they can't help it to this point because that is who they are.
Well said. Round of applause for Princess. Tamra says, the Canadian $5. Thank you so much for your super chat. Princess, yes. Super chat for you. Break it down. Okay. I'll cash out you as a $2.50, my love. Canadian dollars. Canadian dollars right there. Well said, Princess. Round of applause. I mean, the backstage is getting filled up. I can put you back there, Princess, and bring someone else on, but hang tight, okay, my love. So, Debonair, were you going to say something?
Yeah, you know what else I thought about?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm listening to this, and I'm a big fan of Brandy McSeal. This is the same thing that Brandy McSeal experienced, and they kicked her off the show because she didn't care about Shawnee, she didn't care about Tammy, she didn't care about what everybody else was going to do. She was on the show for her. She didn't care about them. And she's a brown skinned girl, but they got her.
Brandy was disrespectful, though. I mean, on every level. I mean, you can't even compare the two. You can't come on someone's platform and act like you know, she was just totally disrespectful to Shawnee, and she deserved to be fired. I wouldn't even compare the two, though.
But they were treating them like they were like, when they were treating her like she was an adolescent, like she didn't really have a brain for herself and stuff like that.
Well, she don't. Malaysia, she's Malaysia's puppet. In my opinion,
I really kind of actually feel bad for Evelyn. Like women who rest and rely on their looks, and as Princess said, their other parts. Sweetie, she's not 50 like Schoolboy said, but she is 45, and she ain't gonna get no younger. Mm-hmm. And the men that she likes like younger women. So Evelyn, girl, it is time to invest that child support money you're gonna get for little Carl, or get you when outside opens up, go down to them nice bars in New York City and get you an old lawyer, Wall Street banker, trust fund manager. You're gonna have to get something, because these athletes ain't what's it unless you're going on down to Central Latin America and get you one of them soccer players I was talking about before, Jesus, because your innate skills don't seem to be there, and I'm worried about how you gonna make money in your olden days, child.
April, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, "Go off, Princess." They love you, Princess. BOU. Thank you so much for the super chat. A super chat from one past the Princess. We felt that in our sha na 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 na. Lifting my
in the shundo.
Okay. Hey, Miss Keys, how you doing?
Hi. Hey, y'all. I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
I'm glad to be on. It's like my first time ever being on the show, so I've watched y'all almost every day when I can get a chance to. But thank you. But just to speak on Evelyn, I don't know what's wrong with it. It seems like even over the seasons, they picked on OG so much over this season. It almost seems like they're trying to make feel a distraction, because Evelyn's been so aggressive, like all those things she's saying OG is, she's been all of those things and more from the beginning. Like even when she had the gall to tell Tammy that she wasn't a motherfucking factor. Like, how do you speak to somebody like that? Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that, it really displays a person's character. And I feel like she's always been, it seems like she's always been, I guess, aggressive towards darker skinned women. And that's just from me having watched season from season. It seems like she's always been like that. Just to me. And I mean, just coming as a brown skinned girl, somebody that has been bullied or, you know, just anything, my black gums, or you so dark, you know, all of those things. Like, how do you not know that monkey is offensive? How do you not know that those things are offensive? I just don't understand it. I mean, you sleep around with our black men, though, but you don't have a problem with them. But here comes another strong black woman presenting herself, and you have such a problem with that. I don't, you know, that ain't cool. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for calling in. I just love your accent and your pretty little smile. So nice.
I have an accent, yeah. Oh.
Yes, you do.
Me.
I love it. But you're absolutely right. She knew what she was doing with that monkey emoji.
Right. I'm like, how could you not know? You too old to be saying, like, to say, I tell my 10-year-old that I don't know is not an excuse. It's not an excuse to validate what you're doing. No, you know what you're doing. Just own up to it. If I honestly would respect her more if she just owned up to what she's doing. Like the fact that you want to gaslight people, that's a no for me. I would respect her so much more if she would. I mean, just say I be like Nene. I said what I said, and that's it.
But she wants to be a bully and a victim at the same time. You know those types that like to jump up in your face, say this, say that, and as soon as you bark back,
as soon as you jump, see, don't hit me, don't touch me. Goodbye. Goodbye.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you guys.
Bye. I am gonna add Kadia. You have to turn your camera on, love, if you want to get on.
She is not dating Mark Anthony. He never claimed her. She rented his Airbnb, the guest house, because she couldn't afford the real house. Stop it.
Is that what it was? Okay. So she rented the guest house and took photos and put it on social media and trying to make it seem like she was sleeping on Mark Anthony.
Monica, that was his Airbnb on Star Island. Stop with the narrative. He cleared that up on his Twitter, and he said he is not with her. Y'all can stop that in the chat. That ain't no water.
Hey, Detrice, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi. I got so much, but I'm trying to narrow it down, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to start.
Okay.
First, I'll start with OG's looks. They just, when they first met her, they said something about her looks when they met her. Now, granted, when they did meet her, she was not looking her best. OG is actually, she's really a pretty lady. At that time, what she had on and that lipstick just wasn't helping her complexion. The second one I wanted to say is when y'all said that Shani said that she's married to a black, a dark black man. Let's be clear. If Shaq wasn't making any money, Shaq is not, let's be clear, you wouldn't see him and just say, ooh, that wouldn't be the first thing that you would see would be his looks. That wouldn't catch your eye as far as you would want to date him. So if Shaq wasn't making any money, do you really think Shani would have dated him if he was just an average guy?
No.
So it was something else I wanted to check on. And with Kristen, the only reason Kristen didn't experience what OG experienced was because she was too busy kissing up. She wasn't trying to have any conflict. She was trying to be everybody's friend. And then she turned on family. They treated, what was the lady name? Cece. They treated Cece so bad. And if we're family and I'm in a group, I can say what I want to about my family, but you're not going to say anything about my family. I'm going to take up for my family. And Kristen did not do that. She kikied and laughed when they talked about her having a happy ending, giving happy endings instead of her standing up for CC. So if that's your family, you're going to stand up for them regardless. You're not going to let anybody talk about them.
Right.
And I'm trying to think what the last thing, let's see. I got the OG, her looks, the husband. Oh, and as far as Evelyn, Tammy did not lie when she said that Evelyn and Chad had been fighting. If you would recall back to that season when they started dating and they was in that car when he was taking her to that beach, to the beach to have this romantic dinner, and Evelyn popped off and said something, and Chad almost forgot that camera was right there because his hand went like this and Evelyn went how she does that look.
Mm-hmm.
So they had been fighting, and Tammy was correct on that. So you were fighting before you married this man. You knew this man, he probably was cheating. I'm pretty sure he was cheating on her before they got married. Now, and then you agreed to say that as long as, I remember they had a discussion, as long as she knew she wouldn't have a problem with it. But no sooner you get married and then you find some condom, all of a sudden you got a problem with it. So she used that as her storyline, and I don't think she should have been the spokesperson for domestic abuse when it was a mutual thing.
Well,
and that's all I have to say.
Well said, too. Mm-hmm.
I think I can critique Evelyn, but on the issue of her being a domestic violence survivor, it's a complicated issue. Even if there's prior history, that shows you how pervasive these things are. For most people, yes, it doesn't happen one time, one explosive time, and it's done. There are statistics that show, I think you guys are probably familiar, that actually assault or domestic violence is actually quite common, and it's from people you know, and it doesn't have to be this explosive thing. So, I just want to, shed light on that. She has her poor qualities, but she also has some redeeming qualities, and I do believe she really did go. I think that was not a storyline. I think she probably really did go through it, but we also need to be careful about how we take responsibility for our actions, while at the same time not like what people would call victim shaming. So on the domestic violence thing, that's a completely separate discussion. And she was telling her story, and Chad can tell his story. That's what I would say.
I think, Dr. EVA, what most people feel is like, I for one don't doubt that it happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like Evelyn only brings it up when it's convenient for her or to deflect from something else. Again, like we talked about before, just another way to throw kind of the victim card out of there. When someone is going against her on something else, it's like she wants to start crying and reliving the whole Ocho Cinco situation. And I don't think that's necessarily fair to him either, to keep dragging it out. We've been there, we've done that. You either press charges or you don't. But to only use it when it suits you is not fair to him or to other domestic violence survivors, who aren't able to, when I say benefit, who aren't able to, like, she's not doing these campaigns for free. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like she's becoming the face just to be the face and bring awareness. She gets paid to do these things. And it seems like she rolls it out whenever the funds are low. That's to me how it kind of comes off.
Absolutely. Lucky Love, I just want to acknowledge this super chat really fast because the comments go so quickly. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lucky Love. Evelyn can join Sheree from Real Housewives of Atlanta and sell t-shirts. Who gonna check me, boo?
And y'all gotta remember too, on the episode, she did acknowledge that it was okay for him to cheat. Then all of a sudden, when you in the car and you see some condoms, now it's a problem. My issue with Evelyn is there has been many NFL players. Ray Rice is an example. His wife had a rap sheet longer than Diana Ross's weave. There was many a times that she was aggressive towards him, but he was the one that lost his career because he forgot that there was a camera right there. And in order to get her off of him, he pushed her to stop her because she was beating on him in the elevator. But he's the one that lost the career and got shunned from the NFL. So it's like sometimes when the man is damned if he do and he's damned if he don't. Yes, and I've always told my brother, if she put her hands on you like a man, put your hands on her back. It ain't right. But you cannot allow somebody to just sit there and beat on you and just take it. But sometimes the police don't look just like women say they don't get listened to when they get the R word. There's a lot of men that get abused and they don't listen to men that's getting abused. And when they go to defend themselves, then they end up clanked up in jail. It's a catch-22. It's not right. He shouldn't have put his hands on her. But you cannot be aggressive. How many times have we seen women on TV shows jump in a man's face and try to fight them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not right. Keep your hands to yourself. And if you got to get to that point, break up.
Mm-hmm. Deatrice, thank you so much for calling in. We always love your perspective. You have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye. I'm going to add Michaela to the chat.
Mika, I know my mama
Mika,
spelled my name wrong. It's
sorry, Mika.
Incorrect, but it's Mika.
Okay, I couldn't actually see it because the comment was covering it up. I just saw the M part, so sorry about that. Okay, my love.
The eye looked like an L. I can see that.
All right. What you got going on tonight?
You guys are on fire tonight, y'all. I'm over here like, yeah, say that. You know, I do want to address the domestic violence thing. What Schoolboy was saying was on time. Men have been abused, and from Evelyn's aggression, I don't doubt for 1 second she was aggressive with that man. But that's not why I came on here. I came on here because it seems like it's a cleanup season. They're trying to clean up from last season because of what everybody was saying about the colorism. So now, you know, people paychecks are at jeopardy. You know, Jackie, you know, if the show gets canceled, Jackie loses a check, Malaysia loses a check, all of them lose a check. So now what they have to do, and which is I think whoever they PR is just missed the mark on this. Now what they're trying to do is do a false flag on OG. We all saw what happened last season. We saw the mistreatment. I mean, at best, OG got into Christian's face. That's the most she did. You know what I'm saying? They were already on her before even taking the opportunity to get to know her, talking about her hair, talking about her clothes. And so, of course, she's going to be defensive and like, okay, and standoffish. But she still tried. And I respect her. She still tried. OG, I'm talking about OG. She still tried to deal with the ladies. Even now, in this season, even though she knows Evelyn has a case against her, she's willing to sit down with this woman. That shows her level of maturity. You know, these women are just being real immature. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's time to be adults. Like let's have the conversation. Even Shawnee's running away from the conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, let's just have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? This could have been a good opportunity for them to acknowledge that this exists. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like implicit bias. So they don't know that it exists, but it exists. So maybe it's an awareness that should come. You know what I mean? But they doing it all wrong right now so far. I hope it changes. You know, I'm really just getting sick to my stomach watching it because they still trying to pin this aggression on OG. OG is way less aggressive than all of them. So that's the main thing I came on here. I just think they're trying to clean up, but the bad part is that they're using OG as a scapegoat, and I don't like it. And that's all I have to say, you guys. And you guys look wonderful tonight.
You have a good one. You too. Have a good one, Mika. Bye. Bye-bye. Have a good night. I'm gonna add Tamara to the chat. Hey, Tamara.
Hey.
Take yourself off of mute. Can't hear you. You're on mute. Okay, I'm gonna put you in the backstage until we can get that together. Y2K Dimples.
Hi guys, how you doing today? So I, for one, agree with everybody on the panel in some kind of way. I just kind of think it was more to like a personality clash because it's like, they do tend to haze the new person. But since OG has a bold personality, it just didn't clash. Like even on a personal level, the different things that they like to do, she don't like to do. And not saying that everybody have to do the same thing, but running in the same little circle or doing, like how they into fashion and all the stuff like that, like she's not into that. I think even if she was the look that, that everybody that's on the show, I think they still would have picked on her because she has a bold personality just like Evelyn. And really, I just kind of think that OG is very interesting. And shoot, while they are trying to do a cleanup, she should be pitching her a show of being a female football player, the life of a female football player, and to see what they go through and how they have playing football and then life at home. To me, I think that would be a little bit interesting too. Like she can milk the situation just all overall, because I do think this is the last season for them. They should chalk it up because they are too old to be acting the way they acting, and they just looking real silly to me right now. Because it's like we all did see what happened last season, and it's just sad to just look at. But I just think overall, it was a personality, like it didn't mesh. She didn't mesh well with that scenery and Basketball Wives, just period. Like she could be interesting by herself, having her own show, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
I think that's a really good point because, she actually is a dynamic person. The football thing, she's a fashion designer, like she designs swimsuits. And then her heritage on, with the the fashion and the parties. I just think, I think you're right. I think there's something.
Yeah, she can definitely pitch that like right now. And because she's a hot topic, they'll probably be like, oh yeah, sure, OG, because they're not gonna want to tell her no. Because that'll be one more thing that she can add on saying, oh, I tried to do this and they don't even want me to do that, So I'm thinking that she could get something out the deal and then end up more on top than them. Because it's like, what else are they doing? I mean, like y'all said with Shani, she has more things going on and other incomes, but the rest of them, so I think Malaysia did try some jewelry or something like that, but for what I hear, it's not as successful. Like she probably still have, selling a few things, but it's not as successful as probably Shani. So I just think she could get on top of pitching her own show with something else.
It was betting. She had betting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very well said, Y2K. And we appreciate you calling in tonight, my love.
All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you. Good night. Beautifully animated. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dr. EVA Hearts, can you explain Evelyn and K. Michelle are victims of abuse, but they are quick to get physical with other women, people, whatever? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, hurt people. That's what Chris said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they do. I am going to add Crown by Bria. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Oh, my God. I didn't think I was going to get picked.
I know. Sorry for the long wait.
No. I just, I normally just tune in. My 3-year-old is running around. We're potty training. So, I was like, oh, my God, I was moving. I know I had to keep still. So I was like, let me sit down just in case. But on the subject of this, it just almost causes me to have a visceral reaction every time I see them try to play. I don't know, in the DMV we say play the 50, like you try to play the fool, like you don't know what's going on, when it is clear and it is clearly indicated what is going on. To me, at times I liked Evelyn because the drama was good and it's like, ooh, where's my popcorn, let's get it. But then you have to be real with yourself and understand, like, ma'am, you were out here literally throwing $1,000 wine bottles at people's heads, like flipping tables, literally visceral, like spitting venom at people, and then you just expect for people to like humble themselves and bow down and really like. It's like almost like she's delusional. Like she's completely delusional. She lives in a world where she feels like all her actions are correct and she has no accountability for anything. And it almost seems like I never want to tell a person that they're not a victim. I think it was completely wrong for that man to put his hands on her. I will say this though, it almost seems like once she got hit, it was like, oh yes, I got something. So every time somebody tries to tell me I'm aggressive, but no, remember that man head-butted me. I'm like, but ma'am, what did you do? Punched up to get beat down. I'm not saying you deserve to get hit, but like you can't come windmilling at a man and think that you're not going to get like some type of restraint or physical restraint. He's much bigger than you. He's much stronger than you. I've always loved OG. I know girls like OG. I grew up with women like OG. It is not far-fetched. I live in Baltimore City, so there is a high like population of Nigerians. Like one of my very best friends, he is from Sierra Leone. Like I love all my African people. Yes, sometimes the culture is like shell shockish because and as African Americans, we're so far removed from our culture. We don't necessarily also understand how in-depth and ingrained they are in their culture. However, that does not negate the fact that she is a woman at the end of the day. She is a Black woman. And Evelyn, if you are this Bronx girl who grew up in the hood around Black women, then you should know the connotations of what you're putting out there in the world. Do not disrespect Black people. And again, like the other lady said, you lay down with our men, sleep with our men, want to breed with our men. You disrespect the men, the women who have produced our men. What's good for the goose is good for the gander until something happens to you and then you quickly fall back into Karen mode. So miss me with all of that, ma'am, because if y'all notice, like every time something happens where somebody's coming at her and she has nothing to, she can't say anything back. She's like shrinks down like, oh my God, oh no, but she did this and I can't say it, but y'all need to not talk to her because she did this to me. I'm like, ma'am, like, how Sway? How do you expect people to react? Because if she did that down here on Monument Street in Baltimore, windmilling on people, like girl, you would not survive. Like not at all. I know white girls down here in Dundalk that's way more thorough than her. Like you're not trying it with them. So you got the right people. So stay with your right people. OG came through and just was like, I'm not it. Don't do me.
Right.
At all. But that's all I gotta say, Monica. I love you. Plus, I'm forever here for you and your brain and your intellect. Schoolboy, yes, you come through and just be reading my mind. Dr. EVA, you are everything too. So debonair. I got a man, but you look handsome tonight. Thank you. Girl. Back onto the YouTube and continue to tune in. But have a great one. I'm gonna continue.
You too. We love you too, Crown by Bria. Thank you for stopping in tonight. Bye, girl. Miss Alexander J, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, how about a show of Black female athletes with OG and some WNBA stars, and WNBA stars could discuss the pay differences between the leagues. That might be interesting. You know, I'll probably tune into that. Something different. I'm down for it. I'm going to add April to the chat. Hey, April.
Hi, everybody.
Ages. How you doing?
I'm good. Of course, I work all day, but shout out to
you work a lot.
shout out to the educated people on the panel, and I shout out to the people in the chat that understand that colorism, featureism, Europeanism, Ricky Tikki Taviism, whatever you want to call it, is all rooted in racism. So they all they work at the same warehouse. They're just different subsections, different areas in the warehouse, but it's all under the umbrella of racism.
It's true.
So, Debonair, I love you, and we're all entitled to enjoy at least one ratchet buckethead hoe per, show. So, I get it. But the difficulty with Evelyn is she's such a feckless, useless, succubus, and it's hard to even feel empathy when she's actually going through something. You know, she's been ran through more than the 6th subway in New York, so it's hard to feel, you know, empathy for someone who's going through that situation. But to disregard colorism is triggering for all of the brown and dark women who watch this show. It's one thing if you don't see it, but I beseech you, just talk to any dark woman in your circle, and they will say, yes, I can't even sit through the show because it's so pervasive. The level of colorism, featureism, it's all under the same umbrella. Everybody's right, Schoolboy's right. The show's over. It's over. It's done. But Chandria, we're tired. There's no need for her to go to Houston. We're not interested in seeing her implant her bucket head on any more shows. People need to understand, get out of the way. Find some interesting women that are actually married. If I see one more wives show where ain't no damn wives, I'm just done with the whole thing. If you can't find actual married people, let's just change the name. The bitches who fuck athletes. Like, let's just call it. It is what it is. Pardon my language, Monica. I don't want you to lose no money. But that's what we're doing. Ladies who screw athletes. And I'll tune in. I'll be like, oh, okay. You know, they had the side chicks of Charlotte, which I got my life from. It was horrific but beautiful at the same time. It was like a chef's kiss. But yeah, this is the last season. So, you know, I hope Evelyn can find a hockey player or something, because she can't deal with the major leagues anymore. So she's going to have to soccer, like you said, plays anyone, maybe a chef, maybe Mark Daly. I heard he's taking additional applications. I don't know where she's going to go, but I hope she doesn't pull a Giselle. And you notice Giselle is popping up in Atlanta on the Housewives. Stop it. Like, park the cat somewhere. Get it out of the scene. We don't want to see you anymore. If you can't make it on your own show, write a book, start a blog, do something productive, and leave us alone.
Right.
I'm so glad to talk to everybody. I'm so glad that Dr. EVA has been added. She's magnificent. She's everything. The education, the beauty, everybody in school. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You've been fine for a long time. That I don't know. I don't do the feature shit. I do fineness, and fineness has been there since you've been on the show. But that's
thank you.
You know, I'm a married woman.
Oh, you're married? Okay. No disrespect to white. No disrespect to white.
Oh, thank you. So sweet.
April, I just love you. I love your spirit, your sense of humor, your wittiness, and you're so intelligent too. You blend it all together so well. I just love all of it, all of you.
I love y'all too. I'm so glad this show is here. It's got me through the pandemic. I'll be working, you know,
I
for
know.
chat and I'll throw money. I wish I would post all of y'all's Cash App more, because, you know, I'm making good money in this pandemic, and Black creators is where I'm like to throw my money.
Absolutely.
It won't be going to VH1. It'll be going to y'all.
I know that's right. Listen, it's a treat when you can call in, when you get a break from work, because I know you do work really hard, and we appreciate you so much, my love. Sis, you're everything. Okay.
Love y'all.
Love you too. Bye. Thanks for calling in, April. I'm going to end the show on that note, because she is just, let me tell you something. Okay. She
Monica,
tickles
can
me
you look up
so
a succubus for us? Succubus, what they look like?
Google it.
She done told you, Evelyn Lozada. That's what it looked like.
Oh, that's the succubus.
She got it going though with that book now. Think about it. You know, Evelyn was married. Well, not married. She didn't make it that far. But, you know, she was with Paul Pierce for years. She had her little fling with Kenny Anderson, allegedly with Shaquille O'Neal. I think we just scratching the surface. She could be the NBA superhead. She could do a book like that, baby. I'll never forget in 2005 when Karen Steffens changed the game. I still have that book in my collection.
I have it too. Yeah,
That's a classic. Come on, Evelyn. Come on, Evelyn. In about 5 more years, all that dignity you got will be gone, and I will be waiting for the book, honey, with all my teeth.
She already did the book.
She did like a Who I Was With type book. I don't want to read about her growing up in the Bronx, wherever she's from.
She was with Antoine Walker for a long time. She was engaged to him for many years.
Oh, that's what I meant. I knew it was somebody from the Celtics. Sorry, Paul Pierce.
And she, I know, don't do him like that. Don't do Paul Pierce like that, child. And she bled him dry because he, at one point, he had a contract that was like, I don't know, 200 million or something like that. It was a big contract. And by the time she was done with that man, he filed for bankruptcy. Oh. Then she moved on to Chad Johnson, poor Chad, and she ruined his career, right? Over a head bunt. And I'm still debating it because really, I mean, if you could now turn around and be praising this man and reaching out to him for receipts, was it that bad? I have to wonder. You know, it leaves a lot of questions. And then she moved on to Carl Crawford, and he got, I guess he retired from the MLB.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He had like a $250 million guarantee. You know, her and Shani did that interview a few years ago when they were asking them, like, what ex would they call if they were, like, in a bind? And she said she would call him.
Yeah, she said that. So it's kind of weird. You wonder, you know, what really went down. And was it? She ruined that man's whole entire career. He lost everything over that. But again, to anyone abused out there who was really and truly abused, I stand with the victims. I really do. And on that note, please tell the people how they can reach you.
Hi, you all can find me over on Instagram at scared_of_beautiful and here on YouTube at Scared of Beautiful, just spaces, no periods. First video is up. Y'all want to go check that out? And I got some more coming the next few days. This weather has been giving me the blues. And I probably need to upgrade my internet speed, child, because but we're gonna have some more up soon. So come join me.
Yay, can't wait. Yep, y'all go subscribe to Pleasant's channel, Schoolboy. Tell the people how they can reach you.
Oh, you can reach me in a couple different places. You can reach me on my YouTube page at school_boy. You can reach me on Twitter at school_boy and on Instagram on school_boy_2021.
Okay, or click the link down in the description box. We have links to everyone on the panel. So, Debonair, how can the people find you?
Well, I don't know if they want to find me at today's show, but
it's all right. It's all love.
Y'all can find me on everything at So Debonair, and also check out my podcast, Affairs of the Heart, as well.
Okay, very good. Dr. Evie, how can everyone find you?
Hi, everyone. You can find me on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube. We talk all things health, wellness, especially as it relates to our people, our community. So find me on YouTube, EVA Okundaye Apia. And I'm also on Instagram, Dr. EVA OA. And one thing I wanted to add, I just have to say this. Everyone on this panel is very attractive. And we need to make sure, you know, continue to love and love oneself for sure, including you too, Monica. I can tell.
Thank you. Yeah, I love y'all too. Marcella, thank you so much for the super chat, my love. She says every league has been in Evelyn's nappy dugout. Ooh. Okay.
Count on Marcella, baby. Count on Marcella.
Every time. She never fails. My goodness, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Love you, Marcella. And y'all can find me here. I reside on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button down below. We're trying to get to 100K before the year is out. And trust me, time is moving fast, okay? So Teacups, as a family, we're trying to get to 100K. Hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, bang that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the piping hot tea that is served on this channel. Teacups, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was a very constructive conversation, much needed in our community, right? We always need to talk about these delicate topics as a family around the dinner table. We love you all. Thank you for calling in. Mods, thank you for holding down the chat. Everyone that sent in a super chat or a cash app, thank you so much. We appreciate you helping keep the lights on. And I want everyone to stay safe and be blessed. I mean, a lot of people are going through a lot out there with these blizzards. People are losing their lives. Tammy Roman just posted her house in Houston, all the pipes burst. So, you know, there's water everywhere. A pipe in my garage burst. And then I'm still waiting. There's a waiting list for the plumber. You just can't even call the plumber anymore. There's eight plumbers. I have their numbers. I'm on a waiting list for every single one. So yeah, people are really going through it. Check on your folks, check on your friends and your neighbors. Stay safe out there. Be blessed. And we'll be back here, God willing, tomorrow, same time, same place, spilling more hot tea. Y'all have a great evening. Bye. Bye, everyone.